So today what we're going to be looking at within Excel is the text join function, and you can see here that we have a variation of different data that we've inputted here, and we have 4 values to that. So we have the A, B, C, D, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and just for an example here we have an email address down at the bottom here. So we're going to start out by looking at it, and we're going to understand how our formula is first of all kind of all brought together. And with any formula we always have to start with the equal sign. And once we start the equal sign, we can then input the formula that we want. And you can either do this by inputting the formula itself or coming up here and clicking into the FX. But for us, we're just going to work off of this, and we're just going to type in text because we know that this is going to start to bring it up for us. And once we do, we can see that we get this list down here of all the different options of formulas with text. And we can just move our arrows up and down till we get to the text join part. And once we get here, we can press the tab. And we can see now that it's brought in the text join function for us, and it's also started to give us the arguments that we will want to use across the bottom here. Starting out, we can see that the delimiter, which means the point of what is going to separate the text, is the first argument that we need to input there. And for this first one here, we're just going to use these comments and put a little comma in there, because that's what we want to break up the A, B, C, D. From here we can press the comma, moving it on to the next argument, and we can see that the options that we have here, it auto gives us are true and false. So do we want to ignore the empty cells, or do we want to include any empty cells? And for now we'll just click true because we want to include the empty cells, and then we can press the comma, and now it's going to start asking us for the text that we want to bring together. So we can click on text 1 and text 2, text 3 and text 4. Once we've done this, we can close the parentheses and press enter, and we can see there that this has now joined all of that text together for us with the comma that we used as the delimiter there. So what we'll do now is we'll move down into the numbers, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but just for an example we'll take out the 3 here, we'll use the equal sign, and we'll use the text join function, pressing the tab. So asking us for a delimiter here, so we're going to use the comment with a space and a comment again, and we can move into the next option. So now this is where we want to include any empty cells or true. Do we want to ignore the empty cells? So we'll stick with the true and we'll ignore the empty cells, and we want to have the B4, the C4, D4 and E4. We can close the parentheses, and now we can see that has added it in. And if we were to add 3 within that, we can see that that'll just move in and out really easily because we've selected the true option within the formula. So for the final part now, we're going to include all of this, and we're going to bring all of this email together. So we don't want anything for the delimiter, so we can just use the 2 apostrophes up here, but we won't put any spaces in them this time. We want to ignore empty cells again, because if there's anything empty then we want to just bring it together. And now we can use the text 1, text 2, text 3 and text 4. We can close the parentheses and press enter, and we can see here, if we just move this over a little bit, that's now read up the email address for us. So if you're using that at work, for example, then this can be a really easy way to just make up email addresses from different data within different cells if this is something you have stored on a system. So hopefully that helps. Any questions, don't forget to ask and we'll get them sorted.